There will be like some spoilers for Invincible, definitely for the TV show, for stuff later on, like in the comics, whatnot, maybe not. So if you care about that, be warned. If you don't, then welcome. Because I'm in the same boat. I don't really care. We're gonna do a versus Warhammer tier list thing to basically bridge the gap. My Invincible video that came out today is all like the Viltrum Empire. This one right here, with the old dude on the front, is all the Viltrum Empire and all that kind of shit versus Warhammer. So we're going to do an Invincible tier list that has a bunch of the other side characters and other characters like that from Invincible also against Warhammer, and kind of see how the rest of the universe stacks up to the setting and stuff like that. This is a lot of characters that aren't... I mean, there are Viltrumites in here, but there's a lot of characters here that aren't just Viltrumites, obviously. If you can tell, if you're familiar with Invincible, we've got stuff that isn't Viltrumites. The whole point of this is to kind of like talk about everything else that obviously wasn't in the video, and see how it stacks up. Because the main thing was just sort of the Viltrum Empire with no specifics. There was nothing about like any of the Viltrumites specifically. It was more so them as like an overall thing. And then obviously, like when we did the everything versus Warhammer tier list, I have a bunch of Warhammer stuff in here, and that's going to be like our checkpoints. So we can see where they stack up. So like strongest, Exterminatus. That's blowing up a planet. That's if you could survive being on a planet when it gets blown up, pretty elite, pretty up there. Astartes, again, Space Marines are going to rank low because we have a lot of wacky, powerful shit on this list. The main way I'm approaching this is we're doing this like the when they're like recruiting for the Guardians of the Globe in season 1, is like if you put the characters into a fighting ring and made them fight face to face, who comes out on top? So it's going to get a little heretical here, but I'm going to put an Imperial Knight over a Custodes. And that might make some people angry, but that's because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't even remember where it is. There it is. Custodes. I might not have enough tiers for this. Hold on. When Grey Knights are our C tier, we've got a lot of shit to work through. Kirkman, yeah. Robert Kirkman is on this tier list just because I decided, fuck it. It's just a wild collection of Invincible characters that I was thinking of at the time. So we've got all of them. So this is kind of our checkpoint system like I had. Oh, hold on. This guy's here too. He's probably like... Because if you're standing in open field, even like Gilliman and Custodes, they're strong, but a knight will just blow them up. And then the rest here is all Invincible characters, stuff like that, even some of the actors, yes. And then we have our checkpoints. So we have, Lonely Imperial Guardsmen, the Ogryn, who are, if you don't know, in Warhammer 40k, the Ogryn, the big ogre dudes, are fucking strong. They're tough motherfuckers. They are like really, really stupid, and that's their biggest fault, is that like you could tell them anything and they'll believe it. They're like literally 5th graders, but they're tough. There's a scene in one of the books, I cannot remember exactly which one, where there's like a Space Marine and he like shakes hands with an Ogryn, and he's like, oh, if this guy wanted to crush my head inside of my helmet with his bare hands, he could. They're just so stupid, which is fucking incredible. So, I mean, yes, they would be stronger than a Space Marine, but I'm going to put them under because they're kind of not as well equipped. Like I said, open field. Malum Kaido, the bottom of C tier, because his name is I Kill Evil, which, if you don't know, that's basically just a Warhammer reference to Doom Guy. If you want to stretch the Latin translation far enough, it just means, I am the killer of evil. I'm the evil killer, Doom Slayer. It's effectively the same thing, which is obviously why Bolt Gun is a Doom-style game. Grey Knights, big scary dudes. Secret Service, whatever. Magic bitches. Custodes at the bottom of B tier. With Guilliman and Imperial Knights above them. Again, yes, Guilliman and a Custodes could probably take on an Imperial Knight, but you put them in an open field, that Knight is just going to scorch them. Imperator Titans, these are the big Titans with churches on their back. These are the ones that turn and like obliterate mountains with their guns. They're powerful. And then obviously the Emperor himself at the top of A tier. And then S tier is Exterminatus. Because, to be honest, I don't even know if the Emperor necessarily could survive a planet exploding. You'd have to hit him with it first. But I feel like if you put him on a planet and blew the planet up, he's not surviving it. I know the Emperor has done some weird, wacky bullshit, but I don't know that he would get away with that. And then obviously down here at the bottom we have Fail. These are people who like can't even fight a guardsman, you know? Like, if you can't even make it as a guardsman, then what are you doing here? You know, why are you even in the superhero genre to begin with? Like, all these characters should be overpowered. But that's basically it. That's our ground rules, our setting, our establishment for this. Without further ado, in no specific order, we have most of the characters in Invincible, all the ones that are like important. You know, you're not going to see some random bullshit. Some of these characters are from later seasons and are kind of spoilers. So again, for the last time, there will be spoilers for the Invincible TV show and some like later comic stuff, but not a whole lot. But otherwise, we're going to get into this. First on my list is Alan the Alien, who I know he goes on to be like a tough dude, but so far in the show, he's kind of like on par with the Viltumites. Like, it kind of depends on which Viltrumite he's fighting or so, but he's kind of like up there with them. Now, in his destructive capabilities, I'm not quite so sure. He just seems to be very, very durable, but it doesn't seem that he necessarily hits super, super hard. Because I don't know how powerful the Imperator Titan's cannons would be compared to like those cannons that he gets hit with on the prison ship. If it's more powerful than that, it might suck for him. I think he's able to die and just come back stronger, but I'm not an expert on Invincible. I'm kind of going off what I see in the show and what I understand their capabilities to be based on what I see them doing. Next is Amber. I'm sorry, Amber. This is going to look bad. You go into fail category. I don't think Amber could take a guardsman. She's just a person. She's just a civilian lady. No shade. I don't I don't hate Amber in a lot of the ways that a lot of people got really, really upset with her as a character. I just didn't really care. I just thought her whole plotline was boring. Am I the only one here? No, there's a lot of people on Twitch. It'll fluctuate. People come in and then they're like, oh, this guy fucking sucks, and then they leave, and then, you know, more people come in later. You're fine. But yeah, I just didn't I never understood all of the hate and all the shade for Amber. Now this is interesting because of his portals. Because his portals can absorb shots and stuff. Not to mention just send people anywhere. Now, the biggest thing that I'm unsure of is how big his portals can get. Amber is generic woke slop. The fuck does that even mean? God, don't start with that. That doesn't even mean anything. What, because she's a person of color? Oh, God. A lot of the characters in the show, by the way, are generic on purpose. That's kind of like the whole point of the series, is all the characters are some sort of parody of another thing that exists in another property. Like, it's very, very, very generic in a lot of cases. Pretty much, like, that's like the whole point, you know, is to poke fun and poke holes in like these long established things. They changed that? Come on, you can't you can't come in here and just start speaking Simlish. That's unfortunate. Oh man. But back to what I said earlier, Angstrom is going to depend, because I don't know if he can make portals bigger than people, because every time we see him use his portal stuff, it's only like, hold on, let me actually ask Google. And nothing. Yep, they changed that. Changed what? You can't. I talk fast and there was a lot of ADHD going on. If you're gonna talk about something, you got to be very, very specific. Google told me nothing about how his powers work other than it's just portals. And if it's just human-sized portals, like the ones he's using on Invincible, that kind of sucks. Because he can just, it doesn't matter like how strong you are. Like Invincible got out of there because he had friends and they went to an alternate dimension. But it's like he could just throw you in a wormhole and you're fucked. Like the end of season 2 when Invincible kills him, he's just fucked. He's just in a fucking deserted wasteland. Doing apps, like, he's just stuck there. Because, like, once you get to, like, Grey Knights and Custodes, I guess, some Warhammer bullshit, they're, like, so fast that they would react faster. I guess it depends, well, if he just takes a bullet to the face. I don't know how directly to a fucking wasteland, What are you gonna do if he drops you in the Eye of Terror? But, yeah, I'm also confused. YouTube chatters, man. But then if he, like... I'm not going to think about it too hard. I'll put him there. Just because I haven't seen him open any portals. He can tank a bolter. Yeah, I think he probably could. But I think, like, the fact that these are all, like, roughly human-sized, if he just throws them into a dimension that just doesn't make sense, what are they going to do? They're fucked. Like, a knight or, like, an Imperator Titan, probably a little too big for him to handle, And I don't think he necessarily has that much to take them down unless he is able to do some bullshit like summoning other Invincibles from a different dimension or summoning dinosaur or summoning some other bullshit to do the fight for him, which he could do for moving someone from the battle. Okay, well, I don't use power scale terms. I don't like that. But can go past Imperator. She could definitely take on the Titans and the Knights because they're not... Her whole thing is that like she could rewrite atoms and everything, but she can't do it to like people. So like, just delete the Titan. What are they gonna do if you just rewrite the atoms to not be there anymore? Because Magneto is like metal specifically. Adam Eve like just straight up changes the atomic composition. Notice Stephen he voices Invincible. I also have J.K. Simmons and Robert Kirkman here, but we'll get to them. Next, Battle Beast. Battle Beast is a fucking, beast. I will probably put him up here with Adam Eve. I don't think he could survive Exterminatus. I don't think he's beating the Emperor. But, like, I've seen people online say that he's like the controls the universe through simple metal manipulation. Oh, I don't know fucking the whack bullshit that Magneto can get up to in the comics. But Battle Beast, from everything I've seen, is like the third or fourth strongest person in Invincible. And I know some of the later on things that they do in the series, like splitting a planet in half and like fighting on the surface of the sun. So, giving him, like, Imperator Titans and Knights and Gilliman and Custodes, I do think he'd be fast enough and strong enough. This guy was so tough that when he shows up in Season 1 as a random bodyguard, Nolan watches him kick the shit out of his son and is like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that. And Nolan, Omni-Man, is like probably the strongest Viltrumite that we've seen in the show so far, outside of that whatever the other bitch is, Krieg. Outside of him and some, other characters and stuff that show up later, he is like the strongest that we see and we know of. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to fuck with that. So I will put him up there. I'll put Cecil up there with the guard. I don't think he's fighting an ogre or anything. Rolled back to stream some. Oh, okay. Welcome to the stream, Wanderer. Cecil, for spoilers for season 3, he's just a regular ass dude. He's kind of, pointless without his like $4 billion teleporter machine. But man was fighting terrorists without his skin. He's a trooper. This is a guy who puts in his full 110% commitment. If you told him you had to kill one single guardsman to save America, he would do it. And I believe he would with his whole chest. So I know some of the characters here, obviously. Blue Breath Zombies. Yeah. That would. You imagine how cool that would have been. There are some characters here that I have included because I know they're big Invincible characters. But outside of some things that I've seen in research, obviously I haven't read the comics myself. But I know how strong they're supposed to be, or how strong I've heard people talk about them. Call me Walker White. Yeah, Sheriff. Aaron Paul is in this list technically. I put Powerplex on here. He was from the most recent episode. All I could hear during that most recent episode with him like yelling about Invincible was, he can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it. It's all I could fucking hear in the back of my head. He was just doing the same thing again and again and again. Debbie. I'm going to put Debbie up here with Cecil. I think she could kill a guardsman. Debbie is a fucking trooper. The epic rap battle, Walter White versus Rick Grimes, I have. That's like a D tier epic rap battles of history. I think it's a pretty lame one, but I have seen it. But I'm putting Debbie in here under Cecil. She doesn't have like the experience or the training or whatever. Motherfucker is a trooper. You put a baby in the same room as she is, she will beat a guard to death with the bloody stump of her broken arm. You've seen... We've seen the show. Season 2. That ending with Angstrom and everything, getting her fucking arm broken off. She pulls through. The internet women find Debbie hot. I find Debbie hot. What? What are you talking about? She's a working woman. Of course she's hot. That is how attractiveness is determined, obviously. But yeah, I'm putting her up there mainly for the spirit. I know realistically, sure, she'll drop into the field and get shot immediately because she doesn't have any guns or powers or anything. Technically, yeah, sure. But she's got the spirit, and that's what fucking counts. Next, Donald. Donald goes above Cecil, technically. He's like a robot. He's not even human anymore. And technically, he's not going to die. He'll come back from it. He died in a house explosion, gas leak, and came back. He's just a robot. He's just fake. He's an automaton, a synth. No, it's not. Used up car. What? I still don't know. I understand you were talking about Debbie. I don't know what the fuck that sentence means. Used up car? What does that even mean? Yeah, that is pretty fucking insane. Is... Okay, hold on. Forming a sentence. Give him time. Give him time. Dude, YouTube chatters are making me feel schizo. Where's Banana when I need him? Is it Ben? No, Ben's not the kind of person who would accuse a show of being woke because person of color. For all of his faults and all the issues I've had with Ben and stuff like that, he's not that stupid. She already has some mileage? Oh, okay. Shut the fuck up. That is like somebody who... I'll take somebody who's never been in a relationship for 1,000, Alex. What the fuck? Are you stupid? Are you a moron? You think that? The fuck does that have to do with anything? Oh my god. Somebody who's had partners in the past just means that they are better at, the good stuff with you because they have experience. And you guys don't have to do like the awkward learning stage that teenagers do. You can just be adults and treat each other like human beings. And understand that people have pasts and history. And the world, nor the women in your lives, will ever revolve exclusively around you and only you. She's not. I don't think he's calling her old. I think his issue is that she's had experience, which overwhelming majority of people do. The fuck is chat on tonight? Let's get on to Mark. Yeah. Thank you. Invincible. Fuck. Oh god. Bro is tough, but he gets beat every time. I am going to put him up here. I don't know if he's at Conquest level yet in the show. I don't think he is. I think Conquest is going to show up and beat his ass. I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to go. That's kind of how every single one of his fights goes. But man is lifting like the heaviest glaciers. Actually, hold on. 90,000 tons. And bro was lifting that shit on the show. Mark gets beat the fuck up every time and still somehow wins. He wins a week later after he gets better. 90,000 tons, though. An Imperator Titan is like... He's Rocky, basically. He's like, I hear no bell. Like, he just gets up. There are reasons for that I won't necessarily talk about here because it's stuff that shows up later in the comics or whatever that explains why he's so fucking resilient and stuff. Ice is heavy. I know ice is heavy. The point is that an Imperator Titan is 400, 600 tons. Mark, his, not even his PR, is 90,000 tons. We're talking about Darth Vader and, like, Starkiller and stuff. Obviously not up there with, like, Starkiller's 50 million ton spaceship, whatever the fuck. But still, 90,000 tons is a couple hundred Imperator Titans. So I'm going to give him that. And put him right below Conquest, because I'm assuming he's probably going to get his ass beat sometime by the end of Season 3 when the final 2 episodes finish airing. Now, J.K. Simmons. He is going in S tier, above Exterminatus. He might be able to ragdoll a Titan. He very easily could, you know, like there's like that giant he fights in Season 3, the like 6-year-old or whatever he's using for like testing or whatever. He drops a mountain on top of him and he just lifts it. I think he could do that. He could definitely throw a Titan, for sure. And he's fast enough that he doesn't have to worry about getting hit by their cannon. Like, their cannons are powerful, but it takes like a, a business week to charge up. Is the hardest boss fight in the Force Unleashed the hardest difficulty? Well, yeah, because it's Darth Vader, It's, I mean, we talked about this when we did that tier list, is that, like, it's so, Vader is stronger than the Death Star. See, I'm not even going to put words to any of that, because Star Wars bullshit is so all over the place, depending on which, like, canon you're talking about. Are you talking about the old stuff or the new stuff, or which version? Because Darth Vader in a video game is different from Darth Vader in a book, which is different from Darth Vader in the movies, which is different from, X, Y, and Z, and it's not consistent whatsoever. It's the same thing like Warhammer. Warhammer is exactly the fucking same. There's a book, there'll be like a book that says, a Chaos Space Marine goes through it and he kills 100 regular Marines. And then you have something like Malam Kaido, who fights 2 greater demons at the same time, while also fighting a sorcerer on the back end. So it's like, Warhammer's also, all of these are stupidly inconsistent with their own internal, like, power dynamics. So I don't put too much thought into it. It's kind of just, we're here to fuck around and put stuff on stuff. Put stuff on stuff, but just to do stuff. Has Vader survive a thermal detonator? Yeah, everything is all over the place. You can't think about it too hard, or you'll just go insane. The only people who do think about this, like, this is why I hate the true, like, fucking, like, hardcore power scalers on Reddit and bullshit like that, is because, like, these people just don't have anything else to do all day, so they just sit here doing imaginary math about space wizard samurais to try to prove that, like, Goku is stronger than Superman because X, Y, and Z and quadratic formula, some bullshit like that. I'm not interested in that. I don't really care about that. It's more of just he has. Thank you for repeating. But, like, I don't necessarily care. Right mindset, like when he was fighting the Viltumites, he holds back a lot because he was raised human. That too. Invincible not like wanting to kill anybody, which is also hilarious because he's also like anti-rehabilitation with like the whole Cecil debate in season 3, where he's like, how dare you make these people turn a new leaf? Also, don't kill them. That's like the big Batman problem too, is that like you'll beat the shit out of them, you'll snap their spine, but then you just lock them up. There's no focus on like rehabilitation or like trying to help them get better. No, I will not make a 7-hour fucking Omni-Man versus Goku video. I had enough of an issue making that hour-long Destiny video, and I hated that. I hate making long videos. Outside of this, when I'm streaming, it's easy, because I can just sort of fuck around. It's not that much effort. I don't even remember the fuck I was talking about. But yeah, the whole... all over the place. The whole Invincible and, like, Batman, like, we're not going to kill... but also, don't rehabilitate. Bad people are bad forever, and there is no redeeming qualities. When also, like, the whole point of... I know they do exist, but, like, the whole thing with him and, like, Omni-Man, his dad being like, my dad is, like... I know him as, like, this good guy, but he also did 9/11. And I don't know what to do, but it's like he doesn't have any of that like same compassion for any of the bad guys, which yeah, they also do fucked up shit, but like there's no thought about it whatsoever. And it looks like there was kind of a switch with it with Powerplex. You say later his morality changes, but I'm going off what I know of in the show. In the show, he's just a fucking dickbag. I know he's like 20 or some shit, but still, there's not a whole lot of like rationality there. I really want him to get his ass kicked by like an ethics guideline book. Her power is jumping, but she can't even. Her power is jumping. That's a funny way to put it. I know it's a joke. I'm just saying the joke doesn't make any sense to me. It's a funny way to put it. Her power is jumping. Pull up with the squad. But yeah. It's good when you're fighting regular people, but like if you're fighting somebody who can split regular humans in half with like their bare hands, you're kind of fucked, you know? Robert Kirkman. Kirkman's power make you cry about a character's horrible death. See, what I think Kirkman is really, really good at is making like I don't think he's necessarily super creative in like a world way. Like he's not doing the world building of like a Tolkien or a George R. R. Martin, right? But he's really, really good at like defining characters. I don't know about his writing as far as like the Invincible or the Walking Dead comics. Obviously, I've seen a lot of the Walking Dead show, which I know he played a big role in the Invincible show, which he's also currently working on. I think he's really, really good at like humanizing people and playing with like complex relationship dynamics in a setting that we expect like certain things from. Let's talk about the characters and watching. Well, yeah. Like the zombie, we are the Walking Dead. I hate that line so much. Yeah, it's, humans were the real monsters all along. I get that's like the point of the Walking Dead, but it's like the setting of the Walking Dead is just zombies. There's nothing necessarily super spectacular there. It's zombies. We know what a zombie is. even when the comic came out, people were far and well aware of what a zombie is and what they do. And like Invincible is literally a parody of every superhero thing ever, but he manages to draw out these like character dynamics and relationships that are really, really interesting, that play on like the expected stereotypes, which The Walking Dead does too. You know, Rick is like the generic good guy, and he kind of like you know, the whole thing, he like becomes Shane by the end. They want to watch The Walking Dead to see zombie killing, not drama. I think they were both kind of meh. Like the zombie killing parts of the show were, I can't think of a time that I was ever like, what do you say, like thrown off by like the zombie scenes. Like the zombies never like surprised me in any meaningful way. Like if a character was gonna die, you could see it coming from a mile away. Usually because the character was black. And you knew that the show was going to kill them off sooner or later, and they had no fucking chance. But every single one. And, like, you could see characters dying from, like, a mile away. But, like, the relationships you get between characters and stuff like that is where you get, like, the interesting part. Like, when you see, like, my favorite parts of that show was always, like, Negan and, like, was it called Covenant? Or the, what the fuck was it called? I don't think it was Covenant. It was the train station with the fucking cannibals. Like, that is interesting to me because it's like you have the kind of standard Commonwealth. Is that what it was? I thought it was like Nexus or something. A lot of the better character work in Invincible is a testament to his writing ability. Parody, but it's a celebration. Yeah. It's not like The Boys, where like The Boys comic is just like, I hate comic books. It's just like this fucking like insane, narcissistic, like bullshit. But like Invincible is like a full-on thing. Wonder you're a G? Okay. But Terminus, yeah, that one. Yeah, where they have, like, to me, that is the most interesting dynamic in the show. That and, like, Negan, because you have these characters that are, like, kind of generalized, stereotypical zombie survivor protagonists, you know? They're just trying to make it. They help people where they can, but they have to be a little sketchy. And they get to this thing that's, you know, it's like help for all, but it's, you know, humans are the real monsters. And you have, like, these people that are absolutely fucking evil. And you see, like, this turning point in the gang where they, like, become these fucking evil bastards. Which, you know, is, like, you have to be to... When you have people that are that fucked up, you know, it's like the Yamantu cannibals in Metro. It's like these people are so fucked up that you don't even give a shit when Carol, like, lets that lady get eaten by zombies. You do not give two shits. You're like, you had it coming, you fucking baby-eating son of a bitch. And I think those relationship dynamics, and like when they do get to Commonwealth or Covenant, whatever the actual good one was, and you see like how these people who have been hardened and like been animalized, like Rick, how he deals with like the abusive husband, because he's like, you are either nice or you die. And he, like, adopts that mentality. And I love those dynamics so much. So it's like, even though the universe is not like... It's not like The Last of Us, where The Last of Us is, like, a unique take on zombies and stuff like this, with the fungal infection and everything like that. It's just zombies as you know them, but there's these really interesting character dynamics at play. And I'm going to put him under J.K. Simmons, because J.K. Simmons is the GOAT. He saw his wife get eaten whole. I mean, he didn't see it. He saw the zombie afterwards. That did eat her, though. Yeah. I thought she got eaten. We're talking about when she was giving birth. Because he didn't see it happen. He just saw the zombie that was like fucking lethargic, that picked her skeleton clean. In like 20 minutes. But yeah. And then we have Maulers. Maulers are probably beating a Space Marine. I'll probably put them underneath Malum. Like, they're tough. The biggest thing they have is that they have like their cloning technology from Oz. I don't know. He's been in a lot of shit. But the Maulers are tough. Their biggest thing is the fact that they can like leave and like clone themselves whenever they get fucked up. YouTube. No, not that Mauler. But like if you just put them into a fight with the 40k Doom guy, I do think they're not going to walk away from that. Because Malum is just so fucking stupid. But I do think they could beat a regular Space Marine. Even if you double it up to make it even, you put them against 2 Space Marines. They have a better time beating 2 Space Marines than they do beating Kaido. Monster Girl. I know this one depends, because I know she gets way, way stronger later on. As of right now in the show, I'll probably put her under the Maulers. Because she is one person. And if she gets caught when she's not, in a in a thing, then she's probably fucked when she's not, like, transformed. I don't know if she could take the Maulers 1-on-2. I think she would just get overpowered. Oliver. Oliver is blasting through Kaido. I'm sorry. Kaido doesn't do any wacky bullshit. He's just fast and strong. Oliver is a Viltumite, even as like a child one. He's still a Viltumite. Grey Knight would probably fry his brain or something to that extent. Sure. But he will blow through Kaido, because Kaido at the end of the day is a Space Marine. He is the strongest of Space Marines, but he's still a Space Marine. He will blow through Malum Kaido like he did the like the Maulers. We split them in half. Hold on. I think she can, but whatever. I mean, either way, even if you put her above the Maulers, I still don't think she's getting past Malum Kaido one way or the other. Maybe not something like the Mechanicus, but I could see them being smart enough to do some cool-ish. Oh, the Maulers? Yeah, I think the Maulers, if you gave them access to 40k technology, they could probably be up there. But we're just talking about dropping them in a field. If you put more nuance into any of these matchups, you could work it out in the Invincible character's favor almost, 10 times out of 10. Batman with prep time. Like that kind of argument. You could do that. I'm just doing a flat, even field, because that gives us, a solid point of comparison. Surprise me if he's like a Primarch, just absorb anything that hits him. Like Oliver? Or are you talking about power plays? First we have Nolan, Omni-Man. I'm putting him here next to Conquest. He backs off a Battle Beast. Oliver? Okay. Probably. Just about. I'm putting him under Battle Beast. I don't know whether or not he could fight Battle Beast, but probably not. The fact that he was hesitant to fight him at all, or to even being in the same general area as Battle Beast in that first season, tells me probably not. So he's sitting just below, just right there. Angron's whole thing was the nails were absorbed around his skin. Well, yeah, they're implanted into his fucking skull. Fair. Yeah. Nolan, obviously, I think, is fucking up any of the Titans. He's fucking up Gilliman. He's fucking up a Custodes. Dude is fast as fuck. He's a Viltrumite. He's really, really strong. And fast. He can fly. Does all this bullshit. He's tremendously powerful. If Mark is so fucking strong to lift glaciers in season 3, Nolan has been that strong for 1,000 years. He's a tough motherfucker. Still not beating Battle Beast, but he could probably run through most of fuck up Gilliman by ruining his economy flow. Well, yeah, you just beat him on... you fuck up his supply lines like it's a game of Risk. Yeah. I mainly put a Gilliman here because he's the only Primarch alive. Like, the lion's alive, but nah, who cares about the lion? Next, we have Aaron Paul, Powerplex. Walter White's sidekick. Dorn might come back next. Maybe. I think if they bring back a Primarch, it'll probably be Vulcan, just because Salamanders seem to be so much more popular. Dorn is possible. He's still alive, as far as we know. But I think Vulcan would be a safe bet, because he was alive in the Indominus era. Like, he shows up, like, just before Gilliman goes to, like, the Garden of Nurgle. He just disappeared to go look for his Zelda artifacts or whatever the fuck. And I think Salamanders are just a lot more popular. But Imperial Fists are their own... Are they? No, they're not. Never mind. Because they're not their own faction. They're still, like, within Space Marines. The only thing that could put down Nolan is a Psyker. Yeah. I don't know whether or not he could survive Exterminatus. Truthfully. The Khan is also not very popular. I think it would be really cool to see Corvus come back. What the fuck are they called? The Raven Guard Primarch to come back as like a warp-infested demon Primarch, but like on the loyalist side. Magnus the Red. Yeah, anyone who's like Primarch, or like, not Primarch, but like super Psyker heavy, kind of fucks up Viltrumites because they don't really have any like magical resistance. So you can hit them with bullshit that like doesn't even exist, you know? It's kind of like Adam Eve, but like able to actually break through like that mental barrier. But with like the Khan and stuff, I would like to see the I just forgot their name again. Raven Guard Primarch come back and have like a sub faction of the Imperium that's like Imperial Demons. You know, I would love to see that as like a cool fleshed out faction in the Imperium of Man in 40k, like on the tabletop. Like having like the big demon Primarch who's a loyalist, and having an army that like actually uses like the Legion of the Damned and stuff like that, and other like loyalists who like exist in places like that. I think that would be really fucking cool. I don't know if they'll ever do that, but I think that's like a neat idea. Magic is Superman's weakness to you. Yeah, that's mostly like magic isn't really a thing that exists in the Invincible universe. It's lame. Fuck you. You're lame. It's not like a thing that exists in the in the Invincible universe. So it's like, there's nothing to say that he would or wouldn't, but the fact that he is based on everything else on Superman and stuff, I think it would kind of work out the same. Have Lorgar come back so Corvus can hunt him. Yeah, I don't know if Word Bearers are going to get... Because we have a Chaos army for all four gods. It would be interesting to see Lorgar come back, because obviously he is much more powerful and much more warp inclined than like he was in the Heresy era, because he's kind of like given up on the Emperor and all that kind of shit. He's kind of gone full in on Chaos. It would be cool to see like a Demon Primarch that isn't affiliated with those factions and get one for like generic CSM, because they have Abaddon, and Abaddon is like Horus 2.0, but he's not a Primarch. And it would be cool to see a Primarch like Lorgar fit that bill. I don't know what other Chaos Primarchs could come back. I think Kurz died, unless they do some bullshit, which they could always do. But I think if there was any of them to be like a generic CSM, all four Chaos gods, like Chaos Primarch, Lorgar would be the one to go to, because he kind of just loves Chaos in general. Anyways, Powerplex. This is going to depend entirely on how much strength he can absorb. Because he just absorbs kinetic energy. Which means he probably gets stopped right around here with Grey Knights, because once Abaddon is a fraud. Yeah, I guess. Because, like, against regular stuff like Malum Kaido or Astartes, when he gets shot with bolter rounds or gets hit with a chainsword, it's just going to power him up. Like, that kinetic energy is going to, like, boost him up and just make him stronger. Like when Invincible was fighting him. But, like, if he gets hit by, like, Grey Knight space magic bullshit, he will probably just pop like a grape. That would be my expectation of it. Like, the same thing with, like, Omni-Man. He's, like, strong as fuck, but the second you, like, mind fry him with, like, warp bullshit, he just sort of, like, has a seizure and dies. I think the same kind of thing would happen with Powerplex, because it's, like, specifically kinetic energy is, like, what boosts him up. So once you have something that's not kinetic, that's, like, you know, magic space bullshit, he's kind of fucked. But everything else, like Malum Kaido and Astartes and stuff getting, like, hit, we have that was the phenomenon with the Blood Angels. Sanguinius came back as the Angel of the Warp. Well, yeah, like, he comes back to Dante and stuff like that, but, like, Corvus is, like, straight up, like, a demon. Like, he is, like, not a chaos demon, but, like, he's been in the warp for so long that he's, like, supposedly turned this, big raven, like, you know, raven demon thing. It would also be cool to see that. Or to see, like, a Blood Angels character kind of become, like, a, what do you call it? Like a avatar of Sanguinius in, like, some way. Like, they get, like, the big, awesome fucking angel wings, and they turn into, like a soft reincarnation of the Primarch. Something like that would be cool. I just wish they did more cool, fuck-ass, weird things with the Imperium, you know? Because they're, like, trying to set it up for, like, the Imperium has a chance to come back. And if you're going to do that, go all the way. Like, if we're getting away from, like, the it's always war and there will be nothing but war for the, you know, remainder of time until the Imperium dies, if we're not going down that route, and we're going down the, hey, Chaos is getting stronger, the Imperium is getting stronger, and we're going to have, like, a second Horus Heresy type event, make them fucking stronger. Start going all out. You know, bring back the Primarchs. Make them fucking tough. But, you know, we have to do that to begin with. Shrinking Ray. I'm going to put her under the Ogryn, because the Ogryn is basically Komodo Dragon, and she would probably just get eaten again. And she would probably just die for real this time. It's cool. See, yeah, thank you. I feel validated. I also think that would be cool. I don't know if, you know, anything like that. Above Kate, maybe. Again, Ogryn are really, really stupid, but he's also really, really strong. So, like, she already basically did die to an Ogryn to begin with. Would be sick, actually. I know. It would be, but we'll have to see what they do with it, because GW, all of their best sculptors are on the Stormcast, the Age of Sigmar team, which, like, not that 40k doesn't have some good-looking models, but 40k kind of has, like, a lot of models that are, like, the same, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of stuff that it doesn't feel like it, like, falls too far from, like, a kind of formula, versus you have, like, a lot of, like, Age of Sigmar models that are, like, centerpiece models, and it's just, like, backline. And it's like, this is infantry, but it looks like it could be, like, a display model, you know? And I wish they put, like, the same amount of attention to detail and effort into, like, their 40k stuff. Some DC Marvel style power-ups with warp fuckery. Yeah, just, like, go fucking all out. Like, and it could be, like, it doesn't even have to be, like, they are just, like, Demons of the Imperium goes fucking hard. Like, we basically already have that with the Sisters of Battle, and everything they do is all magic-based, and it's all, like, faith, but the faith is just the Imperium, but it's the Emperor and not the Chaos Gods. It's still the same bullshit. It's the same mechanics. It's just, you know, one megalomaniacal giant space wizard versus the 4 evil ones. So, like, just go all out, you know? Like, this is the series where we put churches on top of titans. Do some fuck-ass crazy shit, you know? Like, get fucking weird with it. I think that would be very, very, very appreciated. And some people will probably, like, put the same kickback as they did when, like, Primaris became a thing, where they're like, you can't change it. It's got to stay the same forever. I don't know, man. I like the fact that it, like, changes, because that gives it, like, a sense of history that you kind of get, like, kind of like in the same vein of, like, a live service game or, like, a series that goes on for a really long time. It gives it a sense of, like, I remember being there when we got Demons of the Imperium or something like that, and it gives it, like, that kind of familiarity for the community that I think is really, really cool. Reanimen. They're tough. They're getting put down by... They're probably here. Somewhere right here with Monster Girl and the Maulers. Probably below Monster Girl, honestly. I think a Reanimen... Wow, it has Amber. Why does they have Amber's name? I thought I changed that. I guess not. I guess if they're getting hit with a bolter, they're probably not doing much. Because they are more useful in a pair. So if it's a singular Reanimen, it will probably lose to an Ogren. Because they're just so fucking strong. If it's just 1v1, he's going down to an Ogren. B? You put them up with Custodes? No. Reanimen are not surviving warp bullshittery. And they are just people. Like, they're Cyclopses. And, like, they're cyborgs. But they're still humans. Like, they're augmented and they're tough. But, like, the main thing that makes them powerful is that you have a fuckload of them. You know, it's not like one Reanimen was giving Mark or Nolan any trouble. It's that 50 of them did. The same thing with Ogren. And a single Ogren is not going to give Custodes any trouble. 50 of them will. So I'm going to put them there, because if it's just one-on-one, Reanimen's whole thing is like death by a million cuts, but if you only have one of them, one cut is not nearly as powerful as a million. So they're just going to sit down here and get fucked up. Rexplode. Probably right around here. I think he could probably blow up a Space Marine. Giving his all for it. I'm trying to think. The Omni-Man fight with them, just 4? It was, but that was also after them sending a bunch of shit after him. Because the ones we see Mark fight in Season 3 are, like, fucking weak. Because they're made by the government now. They're not being made by private industry, which we all know is way better than anything the government can do. So, obviously, the government versions of them are way weaker. Rexplode, with his new cyborg arms and stuff, I think he could kill a Space Marine. He'd have to get very, very lucky. Maybe there. Maybe a little bit of a tie. Like, maybe like just barely. If it works out perfectly, yes. If it doesn't, he's just going to get his head blown off again. Which is unfortunate, but it's probably how it's going to go. Robot. This is an interesting one because he's not really tough, but he's got a lot of bullshit, and it depends on how fast he can work his bullshit mid-fight. I don't remember him necessarily doing any. Like, he's really good at, like, strategizing, but if it's just him, I think he's kind of here with, like, Rex. Like, I think he's just getting shot. I don't think his suit's all that durable. It gets fucked up almost every single time. They got fucked up by the aliens that were basically the Tau. The whatever the fuck they're called. I don't even remember. But like the bug aliens that show up from the dimension where time flows differently, they're getting fucked up by them. B, you put these guys way too high. What? But he was struggling against them. You put him on, like, against a Space Marine. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. Robot's really, really, really useful in a lot of the scenes and a lot of the fights he's in. But a lot of the time, taking a Space Marine one-on-one with extreme damage, yeah, more or less. Like, I think he's still in the same boat as, like, Rexplode, where it's like, he either could, just barely, or he's not going to. But it's not like a surefire thing. Like, he definitely could, but it's not, like, clear as day. Because most of the fights he's in, he has help. And even then, he's getting fucked up. I think he's like a, supporter role, You can't send one Luna Snow after Doctor Strange. It's not going to work out. You're going to get fucking diffed. And that's kind of where Robot is. Like he's great. He's got a lot of cool stuff, but he's not like Iron Man. He's not a DPS. He's not doing enough. Let's see. Dr. Seismic. Can he affect metal? Comic Shake, when he has robots that fought and killed Viltumites, he would be a problem. Well, yeah, I'm talking about as far as we've seen them in Season 3. Like, there are characters that we haven't seen in the show yet. I have them here mainly just to have them here, like Thrag and Conquest. Obviously, they haven't been in the show yet. But based on what we've seen in the show, he's not a problem. Sure, he might become, like, super powerful and is fighting Viltrumites and stuff later on. Sure. Not right now, he's not. We've still got, like, 3 or 4 more seasons to go. Seismic. I'm trying to remember if Seismic is also affecting metal and stuff, or if it's just straight up, like, earth and ground. He could probably fight a fair number of these guys. He could probably take a Space Marine, because if he does that bullshit where he just opens up the earth and drops you into a lava pit, Space Marines are kind of fucked. They're kind of like, what do you do there? You just fall into lava and die. It depends if he gets shot first. I don't remember him being necessarily Super Magneto-like. Because that would make a difference, but I don't think he is. Vibrations? Yeah. Because he's tough. And the bugs and shit are tough, too. It's very, very situational. It's also very hard to put some of these into perspective, because everyone in Invincible fights with their fucking hands. Nobody has a goddamn gun. And it's like everyone in 40k has a gun. Like, Dr. Seismic is really, really useful when, like, Invincible's trying to punch him, and all he has to do is run away and then, like, slap him real hard with vibrations. But if he just gets shot, what is he gonna do? He's still just an old man. Now, he's kind of based. He is correct, my based environmental terrorist. But if he does get shot, that is kind of just it. A Space Marine, I do think he could beat a Space Marine. Malum Kaido? Probably not. But, like, if he's fighting a Space Marine and he just opens up a gorge that drops the Space Marine into a pit of lava, what do you do? Like, you just die. You kind of have to accept it at that point. So I guess he's just gonna probably stop at Malum, because Malum is stupidly powerful and very, very, very fast. A lot faster than, like, even Space Marines should be. He's just a rabid dog. And Malum would probably not let him, what do you call it? He's a lunatic? No, he's based. Malum wouldn't let him ramble on and do, like, his environmental speeches. He would just kill him. Versus, I think, regular Space Marines, like, even, like, Titus and shit, were letting the sorcerers and whatnot in Space Marine 2 give their monologues. So I think a regular Space Marine would sit there, listen to him talk, try to figure out what's going on, and then get dropped into a pool of lava, where, like, Malum Kaido would see him, shoot him, and move on. While he's trying to, like, talk about the environment or whatever shit. Stephen Yoon. Now, I thought about ranking him as like a person, because like Glenn is a fucking monster in The Walking Dead. Like, he doesn't kill people, and he kills one person. Because there's like one specific person that he kills, like in season 7 or whatever, and it's like his first human kill. I don't even know if he has any others. But like when it comes to the zombies and stuff, he's a fucking beast. I am going to put him up here with the rest of our humans, because I would feel like it's messed up if I didn't put him up there. I feel a lot of the more hacksy supers from Invincible, like Adam, Eve, Seismic, and Rex, suffer a lot in these fights because they're too squishy to use their power. Yeah, exactly. Like, they have, like, strong powers, but again, the whole thing with Invincible is that everyone is fucking punching you. It's really easy to do this shit when they have to, like, get up close and personal with you. In Warhammer, Malum Kaido is going to be 100 yards away, pull out his bolter, shoot you in the face, and move on. Guns are the great equalizer, and there's a reason why a lot of comics avoid them, because it would just ruin half the characters. The Immortal. He's strong. He's not as strong as any... she's really busted. Seismic doesn't have the... Yeah, but Eve can also, like, create shields and shit. Seismic is kind of, like, out in the open. He's got to move fast, and he's also, like, 70 years old. But Adam Eve can, like, you know, heal herself and... I didn't mean to fuck that up. Heal herself and, like, create shields and stuff. Or even just turn their bullets into butterflies and stuff like that, you know? Like, she has ways of defending herself from something like a gun. Seismic doesn't. He kind of just gets fucked. The Immortal, not as strong as a Viltumite. Surprisingly tough, but probably not up there. He's probably also... The biggest thing is he just can't die. So technically, most of these guys would probably lose. I don't know. I think he could throw on Malum Kaido. I think he's kind of here in the same way that Omni-Man gets stopped by high-tier psychers like Magnus. Because he's kind of just Omni-Man, but on a lower scale. So in the way that Omni-Man could physically dominate pretty much everything in the Warhammer universe, but he kind of gets fucked up by like the magical bullshit, I think the Immortal is probably the same. Where he can't physically fuck up everything in the universe, but when it comes to Space Marines and stuff like that, like, if a Grey Knight is fighting him just hand-to-hand or just, like, straight up, you know, fisticuffs or, like, physically, he'll probably beat the Grey Knight, but the second that he gets hit with, like, a warp bolt or some random fucking magical bullshit, he's kind of fucked, you know? He's kind of just, like, gonna go down a path that'll really, really mess him up. Glenn in the game is fodder? What? But I'm going to keep him there. Keep him in C tier. Thrag. Thrag is going to go slightly above Battle Beast. Because obviously, spoilers, he kills Battle Beast. That's why you can see in the photo he's wearing a pelt. It's Battle Beast's pelt. So he'll go above there. Obviously, again. Like with the Immortal. Like Omni-Man. He's barely in the Telltale game. What? Is Glenn in the Telltale game? I didn't know this. Like, unironically. But Thrag, again, same thing with Immortal, same thing with Omni-Man. Physically, he's fucking up everything. He could probably actually survive Exterminatus in the first season. I didn't know that. I mean, I've never played the Telltale Walking Dead games. I know stuff about them. And then he gets stronger after that. I'm getting confused. I probably would like it. I liked The Wolf Among Us. But it like lagged. Like, it's got really bad optimization on consoles, and I feel like the Walking Dead one is probably the same. So I never gave it a try. Thrag, I believe, could probably survive Exterminatus, Technically, so could Invincible by the end of the series. Like I had in like my video and is like in the comics and stuff. He is surviving on the surface of the sun for minutes at a time. So honestly, by the end of the series, obviously, Battle Beast, Thrag, Omni-Man, Conquest, Invincible, Alan, a lot of our A-tier heroes could probably survive Exterminatus. The biggest thing is that I have the Emperor here as a checkpoint after the Battle Beast fight. Well, yeah, they all get stronger every time they fight. It's like the whole thing. They are literally Darwinist, you know. The more you fight, the stronger you get. And he could probably survive Exterminatus. The Emperor, however, same thing we've been talking about, warp magic bullshit, and it kind of fucks you up. Last, but certainly not least, William. Now, William is definitely going into the fail category, but the question is, do we think the twink can beat the old man in a fight? Probably. You know, he's young, he's probably athletic to some extent. I assume him and I forget the other guy's name. Is it Richard? The guy who gets turned to the Animan? Does fucky wuckle with chaos. Yeah, the Emperor is kind of busted in a lot of ways. That, like, you could outdo that with Ben 10 or something like extremely powerful like that, but when you're fighting him hand to hand, and it gets a bit more testy. He's probably, I guess, probably like a teeny bit stronger. Go away, Max. A teeny bit stronger than Art, just because he's, you know, not 70 years old. But either way, he still goes into the fail category. Art has dad strength? No, because you have dad strength until you're a grandpa, and then you become an old man and you're bones. He does not have dad strength anymore. He has he has grandpa frailty now. So this is going to be the Invincible and Warhammer tier list, covering everyone else who didn't appear in the show, works all day fixing suits. What? He's sewing. What do you mean works all day fixing? He's not like Iron Man hammering together steel plates. The superhero suits are not... He's not like building the Hulkbuster all day every day. He is putting them on a sewing machine and lining up his guidelines. But it's crazy. This will be the tier list now. At the end of this, I'm quite happy with it. I feel like it makes sense. In S tier, with our characters that can survive Exterminatus because it is fictional, we have J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, and Robert Kirkman. Obviously, all goats, all great creators. In A tier, the Emperor, unfortunately, fucking Warhammer, does get to sit at the top. Warhammer does win a category, for once. Technically. I mean, there's still stuff above him. Then we have Thrag, Battle Beast, Omni-Man, Conquest, Mark, Adam Eve, the Imperator Titan, and Imperator Titan. It's like a classification. Those suits are durable. That doesn't mean they're hard to make. Do you think Edna Mode is like the strongest character in the Incredibles because the Incredible suits are really durable? Like, what does that mean? Then Alan the Alien. Then we have Imperial Knights, Angstrom Levy, Gilliman, and the Custodes all sit in B tier, kind of like doing their own thing. In C tier, this is where a lot of characters get beat out by warp magic bullshit. Immortal, Powerplex, Oliver, Malam Kaido, the goat, Seismic, the bigger goat, The Baller Twins, Monster Girl. In D tier, we have the Astartes, Robot, Rexplode, Duplicate, Ogren, Amber the Reaniman, Shrinking Ray, Donald, Cecil, Debbie, and then just the generic Imperial Guardsman. And then in the bottom, characters who are not even taking out a Guardsman, we have Amber, William, and Art. And that is our Invincible tier list. That is all of the other characters taken care of that were not in the big Viltumite video from earlier today. Unfortunately, they didn't make it into the the video because it was all Viltumites for good reason, because a lot of them didn't make it. Over half the characters didn't make it past like the Grey Knights and shit. Unfortunately, as much as a lot of them technically would be busted, and like if you get really nuanced with it and you mix them with Warhammer stuff to like make them boosted up or to put them in specific circumstances, you could probably be doing a lot more. But as far as I'm concerned for this today, putting them in an open field, they're kind of just getting fucked up. Let's see, it's done with another verse. If you threw some mutants from Marvel into the Imperium, I'm thinking about doing the mutants in their own video, and we'll probably go through and do. I like doing these tier lists, and we'll probably do more like it for stuff that I either can't cover because I didn't have time to fit it into a video like this. Like, I wasn't going to go do the entire Invincible universe in a video, but I could do this and have the Viltrumites in the video. But once I figure out some stuff like that, we might go through and test them. It kind of just depends. Mutants would be treated terribly? I don't think so. Like, the Imperium is prejudiced towards Xenos, but like with humans, like internally, they're kind of like, like abhumans are like an acceptable. Like, there's cat people and fish people in the Imperium, and they don't have a problem with those. I don't think they would necessarily have an issue with stuff like that in the Imperium. I don't know why they would.